Hello world. So this is my first social media post of any kind, and I feel compelled to. I was watching LindyGlenn, and she was doing a. I'm a fan, by the way, of hers. I watch her channel somewhat frequently, and she was going into a video about the cutback that is happening with SNAP benefits, or EBT, and you know, she did a great job of sort of covering at the beginning, who she felt bad for, and kind of covered her butt in that way. And no offense to her, but she left basically a whole category out because she was going into parenting, and that kind of, the tone of her video. So all's fair there, but I'm 51, and I am disabled. I have a peripheral neuropathy that is so extreme that basically we'll just say it's chronic pain, and it never goes away. I'm making huge strides with my doctor, and I've been very patient. I've waited 2 years, 2 full calendar years to even go on an opioid, and I wear the patch now, and I have some pills, but I have tendencies as an addict, so I wanted that to be my last resort, because it can be a blunt object, and I've tried CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy. I'm still in it, and it's great, but nonetheless, I am disabled legally and permanently by the state that I live in, and I am in process for getting approved for SSDI through the Social Security Administration, and it's in the hands of the Disability Determination Services. Sorry, I'm getting dentures, and my teeth were extracted last week in preparation, so 2 things with that. The first is I'm kind of learning how to talk without teeth, and the second thing is, I'm sorry that you're looking at this gaping hole, but I figured timing was of the essence here. So anyway, back to me. I have a roommate that I met at a homeless shelter because I was recently homeless. I've been in this apartment now for 2.5 months, but I invited this gentleman to come to live with me. He's been great. He gets some benefits because of his age that allow him to pay rent. I don't know how I'm going to pay rent until I get my SSDI, which is evidently as far as 15 months out, even though I originally applied in December of 2024. So, I am very reliant on these food benefits, and I get $298 a month. My roommate gets $298 a month. He has asked me to manage all of the finances for the house, which I'm happy to do, and I manage all of his medical appointments. He's 64 years old, and he's illiterate, and that's just a fact. So for me to take over the finances and the medical appointments just makes all the sense in the world, so I'm happy to do that. But essentially what I'm getting at is that I manage around $600 a month in food benefits. And it's enough for sure. I mean, I can stretch a dollar like no one's business, especially since I've been homeless. I can promise you, I will never, ever view a dollar the same way. You know, when cash is just so hard to get. I'm in a home where I'm with 250 other unfortunate folks who are in this situation for one reason or another. I just remember just trying to get quarters to be able to put in the soda machine so I could get a cold soda. They fed us 3 meals a day, so that's great. I can't say enough about the benefits here in the state that I live. I'm very sorry to know so much about them because prior to all of this, I mean, I made $200,000+ a year for the last decade. And that's on paper. I can't cheat those numbers. So, you know, I didn't make good decisions with that money. It goes without saying. I was very wasteful. I had a lot of nice things and a very nice place to live. And even with that kind of money, I was essentially in a position where I mean, I can't say I was living hand to mouth. I did have credit and, you know, other things, but I was very irresponsible with that money. But that's a whole other story. So to go from that to needing those benefits as quickly as I did, I did not get unemployment, which I was absolutely expecting. I had every right to get it by far. I worked at the same company for 15 years. And my unemployment, I had a family support network that was helping me with my finances, you know, during this time. And the one thing, believe it or not, that we just didn't even consider, and my older brother is a finance guy, just meaning that he speaks the language. Specifically, he sells annuities, so he really has a good understanding and all his licensing that he needs to even do that job. It's, you know, to me, it should be qualification enough. But anyway, we just didn't even consider that I would get denied. We just counted on that money for unemployment, and then we were budgeting with that money and parceling things out, and, you know, I was trying to keep it all together. And out of the blue, one day I got an email, because I checked every day on the state website, and I gave them all the paperwork they needed, and then every week you have to go in and fill out the form electronically that says, this is what I'm doing to find work. This is how many applications I sent in, how many interviews I've had, all that. I was up on all of that and still got denied. And that's essentially started the very slippery, very steep slope that ended up in me being homeless. And so now I'm back under a roof, very happy. I'm very happy that I was able to help someone else, frankly, get. He would have never been housed, ever. He just doesn't qualify, and he gets just basically what he pays for rent is what he gets. So he would have never been able to save up for a deposit, and on and on and on. Not that I'm trying to be the savior, but I'm just saying that's what happened. So we are very reliant on these food benefits, and they're not going to be here come November 1st. I can't work because I'm disabled, and I get a cash benefit, albeit a very small one, $248 a month. I get in cash benefits from the state that I live in. And if I work at all, they're very clear. If I work at all, well, I guess it counts against me, and essentially I just won't get that benefit. And I'm also, as I mentioned before, waiting for approval from the SSDI, Social Security Disability Insurance, through the Social Security Administration. I'm waiting on that to come through. And again, that is as far as 15 months out. I just got a call from my attorney today. I hired an attorney to help me with this application for Social Security disability insurance, which is very wise according to the world. And I agree. I don't know what I'm doing, and it goes without saying, and this I just am totally comfortable saying, the whole way that the Social Security Administration deals with these claims, it's designed to be frustrating. It's designed to be, it's bureaucracy. What else can you say? I mean, that's just what it is. And it's very difficult to advance the ball down the field in respect to my claim. So the law firm is very helpful. And she's the one that called me today to say that, even though I have 2 big appointments coming up to go through my disability and all that stuff, not to expect any answer for probably 15 months. I mean, it could be sooner. She was very clear about that. But she's just doing her job to set an expectation for me. And the expectation is the next 15 months are going to be nearly impossible for all the reasons I just described. Already nearly impossible. By the grace of whomever or whatever, I have a very good friend who we've been friends for 5 years, and there's a lot of trust there. I did take a job to get myself out of homelessness. I had to, and this is before I received benefits. No, I had food stamps, but I didn't have the cash benefit, so I was kind of dancing on the line. But I got the job. It got me out of homelessness. And this friend that I'm referring to, she was a godsend, an absolute godsend. She helped me. She brought me pudding and things while I was in the shelter, was with me in the hospital when this very steep, slippery slope took place. And with her help, we might just make it through the next 15 months. I'm including my roommate in this because I'm going to take care of him until one of us dies. He's not capable of it. Just the bottom line. Call me a savior if you want. It's not how I view it. I'm just happy to do it. I'm happy to help in all the ways that I've mentioned. So you can make up your own mind about that. But I'll tell you this. Doing what we need to do for the next 15 months without food benefits would be impossible. It would just not be feasible. He's not able to work at all. He's of retirement age to begin with, but that's neither here nor there. So he can't work. And what kind of job would he be able to get as someone who's illiterate anyway? He was in the towing industry previously, so I don't know how, but that's, how he made his way through his very tough life. And so, without the help of this friend I'm referring to, we wouldn't even be where we are. I subleased from her. I wouldn't have been able to save up, even with the job that I took. It was essentially a minimum wage job that I took. Oh, by the way, I'm a licensed plumber in the state that I live in. can't do that job anymore. I can't. That's how I made my $200,000 a year for a decade, was being able to perform that. That's a disability. I literally can't do the job. And even the job that I did take, they were great to me. They were wonderful. They had a cot in my office because they were so human to me about all of this. I tried to hide I didn't try and hide, but I didn't advertise that I was homeless. When I wrote an email, I literally typed out an email, and then I went through and I looked up every plumbing company in town, and I sent an email, copy and paste, but still, I had to go through each website, find the email for the owner, or sometimes fill out within the fields of a service request or whatever, I would type it in. And I got one response, and that one response was the job that I took, and it only paid $32,000 a year, and with being available on the phone 24/7, which I was happy to do. But just understand, the job I had was literally, I would answer the phone at 3:30 in the morning, a couple of times. And always have my phone, always on me and ready to answer. It didn't matter if I was eating dinner or I don't go out to eat, but going to the store to get something or whatever, I was on. And even with that job, it was nearly impossible. And I gave all my money to this friend, sort of, call it a savings account, and then since I pay rent to said person because she's the main landlord, it just kind of worked out, that way to kind of give her all my money and she could just keep the rent, and the rest is, I call it the relief fund, because she's a person that's stressed quite a bit, understandably, and so I don't want to share her name, but I would say her name, relief fund, literally so she could relieve as much stress as she could. I owe that to her for the rest of my life, for her kindness. She was the only person to be around during my homeless stint. I'm sorry, my family's great in a lot of ways. They were helpful in the financial way to start. I can't say enough good things about the family structure for what we are, and I won't get into details, but for what we are, we make a pretty darn good family. However, in that same breath, I will say there is a lack of care, like real care, real human care. I'm a black sheep in a sense. I have that very much instilled in me. I've given thousands of dollars to people that I met 30 seconds before. Some of them for homeless reasons, and I wanted to help them out. Some for one couple from Albania, I think it was, were standing on a street corner at one time, and I just got to talking to them, and I speak Spanish, so I was able to chat with them, and I learned that they were homeless, didn't have everywhere to go. They had 3 little kids, and they were great. So I that very day, I drove home. I grabbed all the cash that I had, which is about $3,000. Drove back to the parking lot at the, I don't want to name the store, but at the pavilion area where I met them, outdoor pavilion. And I gave them the $3,000, and I rented an apartment for them, and I paid for that in my name for 3 months. it was meant to go 6, but they found a way home without my help. But anyway, that's emblematic of me. My family's not that way. They're just not. And so I couldn't rely on them for any help while I was actually homeless. It was really lonely. It was a really hard place. I didn't like it at all. Especially a person who was previously here, let's say, whatever, pretty high up and making money and driving nice cars. And I moved to Mexico for a couple of years and opened a charter business when I was 40. As I said, I'm 51 now. Kind of a retirement. I kind of retired at 40, really. But anyway, you know, all of these things that I've, done to get to a certain level, when you get into the homeless shelter, it's like being in prison. It doesn't matter what you used to be on the outside at all. It just counts for nothing. What do you have while you're here? How much cash do you have? How many goods do you have? How well do you keep those items, locked away under your bed? How generous are you? I'm very generous. I've mentioned it already, but I'll say it. I had no money, essentially, but my friend would help me, and I would I had some microcredit and loans that, I would use, and kind of able to finagle it before I worked. I bought 3 prepaid cell phones with a month, on there for people I just met at the shelter. My heart went out to them. They couldn't communicate with their families. They couldn't text with their children or wife or whatever, who knows. So I spent money that I didn't have. I didn't have it. To get them in communication with their families. Suffice to say, or maybe it's not, I'm a total geek. I'm the only homeless person that you'll ever meet that made sure I had the S25 Ultra, brand new. I'm still one step away from being homeless, and I have the Galaxy Z Fold 7 and the Trifold that's coming out. It looks like November 1st. As a favor to my friend, I'm going to wait on that one. But I know it's coming. Anyway, my point is I'm a geek at heart, and this is going to be really hard. So I want to close by saying my heart goes out to everyone who's going through this, who really needs it. And I fear for us. Maybe above all else, I fear for us, because I told my friend, another friend, I said, set your watch right now. Because I got the text yesterday saying, from the state website, saying that we're not getting food stamps. And as part of that, like when I learned that, I'm with this friend and we're talking, and at that moment I said, set your watch November 15th at the latest, and it'll just be open looting and theft like we're already seeing, which is insane. I mean, it's beyond anything I ever thought I would see in my lifetime. That is going to get far, far worse. Far worse. And if you think for a second that I'm going to be able to walk over to a food shelter, or a food pantry, or whatever they're called. I looked them all up last night, want to make sure I know where they are, and I kind of knew where some of them were for food banks. I promise you, I hope I'm wrong on this one, but I promise you that those places will be ransacked. There's no other possibility. That's a known place you can go to get food at this time. And I think that most of the people that go there now are well behaved and friendly. And, every time I drive by one, I see people waiting patiently in line. If you think patiently in line is going to be a thing, like literally, like that's going to even be an option that we can view by November 15th, you're the crazy one. So, I don't ask for anything. I don't want, I'm asking for money. I can't work. I'm a whiz on a computer, so if you find me and you want me to code or do anything with AI, I'm an AI prompting, certified AI prompting IBM guy. So if you can find me, you want me to do something in that realm and I can do it legally and not putting my benefits at risk, I'll do it. But for a first ever social media posting, 26 minutes, I don't know what you can upload to TikTok or if anybody will even see this, but it needs to be said. I don't know that I'm the one to say it, but I watch a lot of YouTube creators out there. I mentioned LindyGlenn. I watch Matt Walsh a lot. Yink that guy. Just trying to shout out to people in case anybody watches this. I don't, and again, for LindyGlenn, if you happen to see this, which I'm sure you won't, I'm not throwing you under the bus saying that you didn't think of us. You just didn't mention it. And I get that it was not, you're doing a CYA, so that would be a good time to have done it, but I get it. It's no problem. But you yourself were on food stamps twice. You mentioned how you would make every dollar stretch. I challenge you to stretch a dollar better than I can. I challenge anyone. It can't be done. I cannot stretch money any better than I do. I dare anyone to try. So that's it. Bye, world.